complete.
Hello. All right, what's up, people? So today is a little bit of a different video. It's going to be mostly chatting, so I figured I'd break the mic out for this one. All right, so there's currently a competition running. Metapop has teamed up with Timbaland. What they want you to do is produce a track at least 2 minutes long using some of the samples provided by Timbaland himself. Now, I'm a pretty big Timbaland fan, so I had to get involved with this one. And today I just wanted to give you like a walkthrough of how I went about making my entry. All right, so starting off, the requirements for entry is to use some of the sounds provided. They said at least 2 of these drum sounds and 1 of these loops. So I had to listen to the loops, and the first one that stood out to me was this string sample. So we chucked it into Ableton, into Serato sample, and we got to chopping. Don't forget the headphones. All right, so the sample sounds like this. But if you start listening to entries in this competition, you will get sick of these samples pretty quickly. The way I got around making people bored was to chop up the sample and to come up with this new pattern. So not hugely different, but you know, a little variation helps. The spice of life. All right, so the next thing I did was to open up Machine. I chucked in a bunch of samples from the Timbaland pack. I also added in my own crash cymbal and clap sound. And I came up with this pattern. Pretty happy with the way things are going so far. Next thing I wanted to add was a bass. Now, for quite some time, one of my favorite bass synths has been Monarch. I've just been finding it quite easy to sort of dial in the sound that I'm after. So after a little bit of messing around with Monarch, I came up with this pattern. Now, I knew everyone had to use at least one of those main loop samples, but I wanted to push myself a bit and try and use 2 of them. So the next thing I did was open up another instance of Serato sample, and I chucked in the flute sample, which sounds like this. But of course, I had to chop it up, come up with my own pattern to make things more interesting. And what I came up with was this. In the context of the song, this is what it sounds like. Now, I only had to make a 2-minute long track, so I didn't want things to get too complicated, but I did want to create some kind of a B section. The way I went about doing that was to open up another instance of Monarch and come up with this little melody. This melody is going to change a few times before I actually get to a final piece, but that's where it started off. These are 5 elements. They were going to be the basis for me to create the whole track. And as you can see, I went through quite a few iterations before I came up to my final. All right, and now this is where we are at. One of the tips that they give you on the Metapop site is to keep things interesting by having change ups every sort of 8 bars or so. So I really took that to heart and tried to have at least some kind of a change up every 8 bars. I also added a lot of these transitional sounds to keep things even more exciting. They include things like the synth line, having this little fade in of the flute sample. It's kind of like a reverse echo. A lot of dropouts on the drums. And then I also used a ton of these rise and hits. It is a contact instrument. It's really simple to use. You just select up here how long you want the rise to take. Anything on this C key or below is the rise. And then anything on this D key or above is the hit. Alright, so after doing all of my arrangement and my mixing, I went slightly different to what I usually do for my mastering, or as you can see, my schmastering. And I opened up Ozone 9 Elements, which is actually free at the moment. You can get it through the Native Instruments website or directly from the Isotope website. It is NKS ready, and the offer is available until May 31st. So if you haven't got yourself a copy of this, it's free. Just go get it. I used their Master Assistant to work out the settings, and came out like this. Yeah, so that's about it. I am just about to upload the track to the Metapop website. If you do me a favor, head over there. I'll leave a link in the description for it, and give my track a like. I don't know if it really helps in the competition, but like, it couldn't hurt. Also, the competition ends on May 27th. So if you haven't entered it, you still have time. Get your tracks ready and get involved. Like I said, I'll leave a link in the description to my entry if you want to hear the full version of my track, or if you just want to get involved in the comp. But I think that is it for now. Thank you for spending this time with me, and I will see you next time. Peace.